Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life?
My mother's cell is the only cell that could live outside the body on its own. No other member, or matter of fact, no one else in the world have a cell line like hers that would live outside the body. And that's something to be proud of right there.
I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself?
The gift of life is surely the greatest gift of all. So how could the story of a remarkable woman who gave that gift over and over again have been overlooked for so long?
Now the living legacy of one woman's DNA.
Henrietta Lacks, the woman who transformed modern medicine and had no idea. To this day, many have never heard her name.
I started asking people, do you know, have you ever heard of Henrietta Lacks ever? No one had.
Something Winfrey is now determined to change.
The significance of what her cells have meant, I think the world needs to know that.
I feel good. I feel inspired to, make sure that this day is not just the only day that we celebrate the history of Henrietta Lacks. That it will be every day, and it's just the beginning.
Even though Henrietta Lacks passed away in 1951, she still made huge contributions to the medical field.
John Hopkins took her cells, and them cells are still living today. Still multiplying, still growing and spreading if you don't keep them frozen. Science calls her HeLa, and she's all over the world in medical facilities, in all the computers and the internet everywhere. When I go to the doctor for my checkups, I always say my mother was HeLa. They get all excited, tell me stuff like how her cells help make my blood pressure medicines and antidepressant pills, and how all this important stuff in science happened because of her. But they don't never explain more than just saying, yeah, your mother was on the moon. She been in nuclear bombs and made that polio vaccine. I really don't know how she did all that. But I guess I'm glad she did, because that means she helping lots of people. I think she would like that. But I always have thought it was strange. If our mother's cells done so much for medicine, how come her family can't afford to see no doctors?
We talk about Hopkins. Hopkins have a wing for this here and a wing for that. It would be nice if Hopkins would have a Henrietta Lacks wing.
Sometimes in life, something bad has to happen to people so that something good can happen to someone else. And just so happened it was my great-grandmother something bad happened to. They took her cells without her permission, the way the radiation affected her. And now look at all the people in the world that it affected and it saved. Like in the 60s and the 50s, polio was the AIDS epidemic of their time. And through her cell was a cure for polio. So it's something that people seen little to or heard little of now. In my day, at first when people were like polio, I'm like, oh, that's one of those vaccines I get, but it was not as predominant in my life. It didn't affect me the way it affected my mom and them, seeing people with polio. And I can say to people, my great-grandmother is the reason for that. People who can't have children. Now we have in vitro fertilization. We're giving women a chance to become mothers, just by the HeLa cells.
To know that a part of your family is the reason why we have vaccinations and in vitro fertilization is just amazing.
This woman has done so much.
I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand.
Your mother was a giver.
A giver, yes, she was a giver.
Still doing it.
And she's still doing it. She's still giving. The thing about it just makes me feel good that my mother has contributed so much, and it's being known that Henrietta Lacks is still living today.
Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.